Hello, this is Eric Fishman from New Orleans at MGMA 2010, and we have the pleasure of speaking with Scott Decker once again. He is the president of NextGen Healthcare, and we're joined by Richard Jonas as well. Scott, I thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks for your time.
MGMA is a very busy time of year for you. A tremendous amount is happening in the industry, and we've got a lot to talk about. Why don't we start with stimulus funding and how NextGen is taking advantage of the requirements and how you're allowing your technology to help physicians prove meaningful use.
Sure. Well, as you know, we've been on this meaningful use track for about 18 months now, and we're just delighted that we're finally coming to the conclusion of all the effort that's gone into it with finally the final regulations coming out 3 months ago and us now getting our certification in the first wave in the last 30 days. So we're hoping that this is going to break the dam of the people who've been on the fence waiting to see exactly what we need to do, and certainly we see that with our clients and prospects all over the country.
Now you've been providing a guarantee, if you will, that your physician clients will be able to prove meaningful use. Now that the final regulations are out, is that even a stronger guarantee?
Hopefully our guarantees were always a very strong guarantee.
Fair enough.
So we're still very confident with our 100% guarantee, but yes, certainly with certification being done, it pretty much makes it a slam dunk for us. We feel like we have all the right parts. Now, interestingly, the guarantee really applies going forward, right? So this is going to get tougher and tougher, and the bar is going to start getting raised. So round one, everybody hopefully was confident, right? We're pretty confident on bar 2 and 3, though, also.
And Richard will have a couple of questions in a few moments about your technology and the SAS, but let me start with the breadth of NextGen product line. You can take care of small practice, you can take care of hospital systems, and maybe you can briefly go through the product line, if you would.
Sure. So, as you said, certainly our bread and butter and our history has been for the physician practice and everything from small practice to the large practice. Over the last couple of years, we've really expanded that to now we have patient portals so you can communicate with patients, an HIE product so you can build connected communities and exchange data with each other, and most recently, really getting into the inpatient side of the world with our hospital-based products. As we see patient-centered home and accountable care organizations really becoming the future, we think it's critical that we can go across that entire breadth.
So talking about the product base and the client base, traditionally practices have known what a great job NextGen has done in the larger practice size. Any plans to deploy an SAS model for the smaller practices so they can have the same advantage as the larger practice does?
Yeah, absolutely. So even over the last 6 months, we've started to have quite a bit of success with SaaS model of computing, and so a lot of our small practices are definitely leaning towards that solution where they can get in for just a low monthly fee type of approach, no capital requirements, no staffing. The other thing we've really emphasized for the small practices is working with our affiliated hospital systems. So we spend a lot of time, and even more so lately, using the hospital system as almost the catalyst to help get our product out to the smaller practices around the country.
Are you deploying it as a browser base or using Citrix behind the backbone?
A little bit of both, because our product's in a migration path right now on what technology. So some of our product is absolutely web-based, so like our patient portal product and our HIE, and our new mobility products. Our core products are still behind the Citrix cloud, but that'll start to move over the next 18 months also.
As you're going into the cloud, talk about the implementation process for a smaller practice, because historically NextGen is in larger practices. You bring people in and there's a formal implementation process, and there seems to be a trend of more web-based training and a faster implementation.
Yeah, and we've definitely applied that model to our small practices. So I think the two things we really emphasize there are more of a turnkey approach, because we have a lot of flexibility in our product, right, which is nice, but also can be dangerous, especially for a smaller practice. So our smaller practices, we much more like them to go with kind of the in the box approach, and let's get started there, and that helps. And then we also very widely use web-based training and implementation. In fact, we use a totally different model for them, that they can have as much training and implementation help as they need. It's all just a fixed cost, and so they can keep coming to the webinars.
That's I think a great idea.
Yeah.
At this point in time, a small 1, 2, 3 physician practice, non-specialty oriented. About how long a time frame will it be between signing any agreement that they need to do with you and going live and actually being implemented, both the practice management and the EHR and mobility?
Yeah, I would say in general 3 to 6 months.
Great.
Yeah, for a small practice.
In terms of revenue cycle management, I know that NextGen has acquired several ventures to expand your product line there. Do you envision offering that service to the small practices as well as the large?
We certainly can. We actually find that probably the market for that is, though, on the larger practices. At least that's the way it's playing out, that they find a better economy of scale for what you get in that kind of service. But it certainly scales down. And once again, I'll go back to the hospital model, because we are finding a lot of traction with hospital systems as they are acquiring now practices, then wanting to outsource the components rather than build up those new departments for their own. So that we've a couple very nice RCM contracts in that space.
So let me go back to patient portals. That's been a particular interest for me, and it has shocked me over the months and years how few physicians utilize them. It seems like such an economy to have the patients doing the work instead of a physician staff. Do you find an uptick in your physician clients utilizing the patient portal technology?
It's also been shocking to me, because I think between this venture and my previous one, I've been trying to do patient portal for 10 years, and it always seems like a no-brainer,
yes,
right? But as you said, no traction at all.
Why?
I don't know, because every place that I've ever seen do it also has success. So it's not like there's just bodies out there of places that didn't work. It does work. Now, I think what we have going for us is the meaningful use criteria, right? So they know it's coming, and this is finally the catalyst. So yeah, I mean, it's probably off the charts versus the last 3 years, how much traction we're getting on patient portal now, which is, I think, great for everybody.
Is the patient portal designed so patients can actually fill out their histories and information, or just more as a communication tool for appointments and reminders?
All the above. So because we have it so integrated into the product, which it gives the ability that you can actually take the templates that you build for NextGen EHR and build templates for your patients, right? So you can do any kind of data gathering you want and have it go directly into the product itself and into the record. So I think we're also, I was trying to think real quick, we're doing online scheduling now, and I think we're one of the first vendors to do that, once again, so you could actually get on the books and do your appointment right online.
So typically during an implementation process, one of the big hurdles, of course, is moving the practice from paper to electronic. So if a practice uses the portal, the patients can actually fill out the review of systems, past medical history, social history,
right,
allergies, meds, the whole 9 yards to take that burden off of the staff.
Absolutely, but it's more the mentality, right? Will they actually do it? Than it is the technology there.
Can the
right?
practice customize it? So if you've got an orthopedist separate from a cardiologist, they usually gather different informations in terms of the histories.
Right.
Can they customize that, or is that something that you do for the client?
Yeah, both. So once again, we have our whole template building tool that we use on the EHR side, exact same product sets being used for the patient portal. So you can customize any template you want, send them straight out to the patient fills it out, it gets imported right back into the EHR or the EPM.
As you said, the customization's always been a strong point of NextGen.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you envision the next, pick a time frame, 18 months, both for NextGen and the industry as a whole?
Well, I think we have a lot of blocking and tackling, right? Because we still have 25% penetration of electronic health record, and I have some of our largest clients coming to us now going, well, we have 1,000 physicians to bring up in the next 12 or 18 months. We thought we were on track, we're not on track. What can you do to help us? And I think the industry as a whole, as this meaningful use is coming down the pipe, I think that's the name of the game.
So
really.
Dr. Blumenthal projects a shortage of 50,000 health IT workers. How are you addressing that issue?
Two things. One, we feel pretty good right now for the volume that we can keep up to it, and it'll probably pick up, and we'll probably start to feel some of the pain. But I wouldn't say that we feel that kind of skill gap. The other thing we rely on a lot is just our partnership network, and we have 15 years of building up a pretty nice network of
you
partners.
have a very robust reseller network.
Right, reseller network and distributors and trainers that we can tap into, both large and small. Everything from the small companies up to the pro type organizations. So, that's not the part we're panicking over at this point.
Scott, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think everything's going great at this point. So I think we all have a busy couple years ahead of us.
Absolutely. Scott, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This is Dr. Eric Fishman for EHR TV with Scott Decker at MGMA in New Orleans, 2010. Thank you very much.